warm welcome to Scott Murray, who's there on my left-hand side. There he is on my screen. He's this one here, the bearded one.
My screen, Angus, you're down.
He still looks 21 when he was running down the wing. For those of you young'uns who don't know him, Scotty is an Ashton Gate hero, played about 350 times for the club, had an aberration halfway through his career and decided to leave, but thankfully he came back after just 1 year away and proved how good he was and how much we'd missed him. And yeah, probably had about, I don't know, 11 or 12 years at the club playing.
Yes,
Did you?
Yeah,
Scott?
a few. Yeah, I think it was probably a 6 then, as you said, a little 7-month holiday in Reading, and then I come back for another. I think it's probably about another 5.5. So
yeah,
it was great times. Loved it.
Well, you suddenly realised that the Medeski wasn't all it was cracked up to be. And
I'm not sure there's many Scottish people that get homesick of Bristol, so I think it was a bit weird. But no, I enjoyed my time there anyway. It was good.
And we will put up subtitles after this. Obviously, Laura will be helping out with this. For those of you who don't understand that Aberdeen tone, right? Let's start back at the beginning then, Scotty. You're in the Highlands, nearly in the Highlands and Islands when you started kicking a ball around at a young age.
Yeah, certainly was. I'm from a little village between Fraserburgh and Peterhead called Mintlawn. As I said, grew up there, played all my junior football, my boys' club football from the little village, and then I got then what happened? I ended up signing for Fraserburgh, which is probably the equivalent of Bath City with us in Bristol. So it's I was 15, 16, and as I said, I played my younger childhood playing for Fraserburgh, which was an eye opener because obviously playing with grown men, it was very interesting. So I had to grow up pretty quickly, to be fair.
Were you running around these older men because you're a nippy boy?
And that was the problem. You run past them and they tend to kick you. So I think so I had to make sure I had to watch who I was running past because there'd be flying elbows and studs going everywhere. So it was, you know what? It's probably the 4 years I was at Fraserburgh probably like toughened me up more than anything. I think so. I think playing against all these big Inverness defenders, and as you said, they don't take no prisoners up there. So it was very enjoyable.
And were you desperate to sort of get out of the region? I mean, even when you started, whatever you were as a young teenager, were you expecting to leave Scotland and go somewhere?
Not one minute. No, I think. Do you know what? I was working in a fish factory 12 hours a day. I was my nan would wake me up at 5:30 every morning, with tea and toast. I'd walk to work, get there for 6 o'clock, and then as I said, 12-hour shift. Then finish at 6, straight to football training at 7. So do you know what? I was actually more than happy doing what I was doing. I think the money we were making was next to nothing. So I think back when you're a teenager, any money you made up where I'm from, you usually tend to drink it. So I think it was do you know what? I was more than happy doing what I was doing.
And when the call came that was going to take you out of this little environment that you had, how did you feel about that?
I went on trial at Aberdeen, or the team I support even now, and nothing came about there. Then I went to Rangers, then I went to Liverpool, and then, as I said, I went to Aston Villa. How it happened was I played against Elgin City in the Highland League for Fraserburgh, and the Elgin City manager was best mates with the assistant manager at Aston Villa. I think they played with each other at Wolves, and by chance he asked me if I fancied go down for trial. So he drove us down. There was 2 of us from Fraserburgh. We've obviously done okay, and they've asked us back for a second trial. And then I think I scored the quickest ever hat trick in reserve football. I think after 11, 12 minutes. I think so. I think that was that.
And when you went down, you were at Villa. They took you on, and you were there for 3 or 4 seasons, I think, but didn't get that much game time. Did you feel? How much growing up did you do? How disappointing was it at that time? How much, having been taken away from Scotland,
I think
this is a hard old business?
The hardest part was actually the first Christmas. I think I was staying in digs. I'd obviously every year I'd been with my family, big family up in Scotland. So we'd you said Christmas dinner and everything, and they said this first Christmas dinner away. I remember the landlady at Villa. She's pulled me in there was 2 of us from Scotland in the digs, and she's pulled us literally 2 days before Christmas. And I still remember vaguely, she sat us down on the sofa and she said, "Listen, lads, I'm obviously going away to see my family." she's done us 2 Christmas dinners and left them by the microwave. And I honestly, I was heartbroken. So I was crying my eyes out. First Christmas, crying my eyes out, and then Hogmanay, another big thing for Scottish people. Again, crying my eyes out. And you know what? I think I could have quite easily went back home after that easy. But I think I got through that. I think for me, that's probably the hardest part of moving away from Scotland. And then I think after that, I ended up playing 4 Premier League games, and it was probably 4 games more than I ever thought I'd ever do. So I was delighted. I was delighted.
So what attracted you to come down to Bristol?
Deadly Doug, bless him. I think Deadly Doug, the chairman at Aston Villa. I think
Doug Ellis.
Yeah, Doug Ellis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously his nickname was Deadly Doug because he didn't really take any bad stuff. So I think it was one of them. He's pulled me after a reserve game and said, "Scotty, listen, we've sold you to Bristol City more or less." And the hardest thing for me was I honestly thought Birmingham was as far south as you could go. I didn't realise it was actually more of Britain or England than Birmingham. So when I found out there was another hour and a half to go down south, I was like, wow, I thought I'd have to get a boat or something. So I think, as I said, I come down and I met John Ward, the then manager.
Yeah.
And as soon as I seen the stadium, I was sold because for a start it was red, which is Aberdeen's colours. And
yeah.
As I said at the time, Bristol City and Watford were top of the league. I think we were getting 18,000 every week. So I think it was better than the 50 I was playing in front of at the Best Cup for Villa Reserve. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Well, what a happy stay it's been, because you've had terrific success then. And what are the sort of hard work that you had to do in those early stages and when it wasn't all going right for you at Aston Villa? What could you tell somebody who wants to be a young footballer how the hard work and the dedication you put in there made you the player you were in the end?
Probably the reserve coaches. We had Tony McAndrew and Kevin McDonald, who probably looked after us the whole 4 years, I think. And you know what? They were on you the whole time. Hard work. That you ask any coach or any manager, they'll take hard work over ability any day. I think you can probably coach ability. Kids with ability, you can coach them. I think, but if the kids don't want to run around, then you've got a bit of a problem there. So I think, and it's even now. I think professional. I think you'll probably any manager will take hard work all day long. So I would just say, just stick in with it and believe in your own ability. And if people always told me I was going to be too small, I wasn't going to be good enough. And listen, I think you use them as to use in your own advantage. I think, and as you said, I quite thrived on people telling me I was too small, and I still get told that now when I'm playing Sunday football. So
well, if Pep had been around at that time, he'd be looking at you, wouldn't he?
I know, and you said you just look at little Lionel Messi, listen, and you watch him play, and it's a joy to watch.
You are Aberdeen's Lionel Messi, really, aren't you?
I couldn't get a contract at Aberdeen, so I'm not. But no, as you said, listen, the heights was obviously one of the main things. I think probably still now, I think if the coaches had probably had a choice between a big 6 foot lad that can run or a little lad that's not as strong, they'd probably pick the big lad. So I think you get plenty of knockdowns when you're small, and as you said, you just get used them to your advantage, definitely.
But your perseverance, you look through your career, you clearly never wanted to give up. You wanted to play for as long as you could because you enjoyed it so much. Yeah,
definitely. And I think it's even when towards the end at Bath City, I was 36, nearly turning 37. And I think if Derek McInnes, the then City manager, hadn't phoned me, I'd have probably tried to still be playing now, I think. So I think, I always remember listening to the older pros when I was a kid. And they said, listen, Scotty, just keep playing as long as you can. And I think as long as you're physically fit enough to run around, then why would you want to stop? And that's why I still play Sundays, I still play Mondays 5-a-side, and I still play Thursdays 5-a-side. So I'm trying to keep going as long as I can.
And tell everyone what your role is now at Bristol City.
So as I said, I got Derek McInnes out with the blue. I was driving down to the City Academy at St George's. I went to do some coaching as I was doing down there, and all of a sudden I got a phone call, and he offered me the kit man job, and I always remember him saying, he said, Scotty, listen, he says, I don't want you to think I'm being disrespectful or anything offering you this job. He says, I think everyone knows you around the club. I'd been working in the commercial department for 2 years anyway, so I was around the place the whole time. And he said, "Listen, everyone knows you, everyone enjoys you, and you've got a good bit of banter about you." So that's probably the best qualities to have as a kit man, I think, because you get to look after these high maintenance football players.
Yeah, and how high maintenance are they now?
A lot more than I played, that's for sure.
Yeah,
They get all this fancy food and everything now. They've got a chef, and I remember when I played, we used to go to Denny's on North Street for a sandwich. That's me to pay for it ourselves. But no, listen, they get very well looked after nowadays. And as I said, you just need to look at the new training ground. It's a way to hopefully be opening in the next few months or so, and it's frightening, honestly.
Well, the club has progressed enormously, and we're all grateful to Stephen Lansdowne for that and everything that he's done. How close do you think this is for all the Bristol City fans that I hope that are listening and watching this? How close are Bristol City to big success, do you think?
Listen, we've experienced it with Man U and Man City the last few years, and as you said, I remember going to Man City away and at the Etihad, and just the 8,000 fans behind the goal. But listen, I was chatting about it the other night, and I still get goosebumps in the hairs are all set in my arms now. And as you said, the atmosphere was different class. And I think if you ask any City fan, we want that every week. And I think, as you said, Steve and John and Maggie, the Lansdowne family have been absolutely superb with this club, and how much we've grown in the last five or so years is scary. And as you said, it's not easy to get in the Premier League, and because we're going to have all the facilities, top-notch facilities, doesn't automatically mean we're going to be a Premier League team. I think the tough thing is that the 3 teams that get relegated are usually the ones with the money to go straight back up again. So I think obviously we had a great chance with Gary Johnson when we got beat by Hull, and some geezer called Windass scoring. So I think it's not as straightforward as we all hope it would be, but I think we're definitely going in the right direction.
Do you think it gets more difficult because those bigger clubs coming down have got even more money now?
Definitely. I think the amount of money the Premier League generates anyways is phenomenal. And as I said, the TV, it's brilliant for the whole wide world, really. The whole world, it's the English Premier League is probably the best in the world. So I think for us to even be that one league away from it is brilliant. But obviously we want to get to the next step, which is obviously the promised land.
What's the best thing about your job inside Bristol City? Obviously, printing shirts is not the most exciting bit, but
printing shirts is a nightmare. So, like for example, so last week we played the FA Cup, and the FA Cup's a bit of a nightmare for me. And as a player, I loved it. But as a kit man, it's a nightmare because we've got these fancy sleeve badges. So we got to put the FA Cup one on, which is you got to do it. And then for some reason we keep selling the left badge, which means I've got to print, like for example on Saturday itself, for the game Sunday, I printed 31 new shirts just for the one game. And I'm hoping now that we got through, now we're playing Millwall, we're definitely wearing the red kit, but I'm hoping the same company sponsors the next round so I can use them again. The chances are we're a different company and I'm going to have to get 31 new shirts again. So right now, as you said, printing's one of the main things. And as you said, it's just getting the lads' boots ready. And I think the balls, it's getting stuff ready for training every day. For example, Casey Palmer came back today. Yeah. Good. Got a text message off him yesterday. Scotty, I can't find any of my kit. So this morning I had to go down to the Ashton Gate where my printing machine is and everything and print up 2 sets of brand new kit for him. So yeah, I think he's one of them who'd probably forget his head if I wasn't screwed on.
Well, hopefully he can help us out for the second half of the season. We need a bit of his silky skills. What are your other roles? I mean, you obviously have a communication with all the players. You must love being in that dressing room atmosphere still.
I love it, and as you said, having a good bit of banter about it, which is one of the main things. I think the players will try and take the mickey out of you, which probably bad news to me because I'll give it straight back. So I think you've got to be pretty lively in the dressing room. I think especially if you're on a bit of a losing run or whatever, you got to try and keep everyone's spirits up. And as you said, the gaffer does a lot of that as well. But I think you pull a few of the lads and just have a quiet chat. It's like a Wara, the young, he's just come on loan from Grimsby, and I think because he's played in my position, I think I'd try and give him a positional sense, and the same with his brother Opie as well. So I think any lads that played in my position, then I try and give them as much advice as possible.
Does anyone clean their own boots?
Do you know what? Yeah, there is a few. To be fair, there is a few. Chris A. Martin likes for the matches. Hunty definitely. I think as I used to do it myself as well. I quite enjoyed. I think it's the tools of your trade, and I think the older lads probably respect their boots more than the younger lads. I think. So
They just toss them off and say, "I'll have a new pair. Thanks very much."
Yeah, so the boots. So we've got the big boot tin, and with COVID at the moment, the lads are not allowed to. The boots have got to stay away from everyone. So I've got to bring the boots down to training literally an hour before training, and as I said, but I put them in a big marquee down at the training pitches, so the lads will get to pick them up themselves, and
right.
A lot of restrictions at the moment. So
who's the one that's likely to throw their boots at you and go, "Scotty, could you clean those for me?"
Not. Do you know what? They're not really any of them, and if they did, it wouldn't be disrespectfully. They just say, "Listen, Scotty, go and give him a quick wipe or something like that." But no one would. Yeah. I think Naki Wells would probably ask me, but not in a disrespectful way at all. He would just say, "Scotty, can you give it a once over?" But the lads, as I said, the lads are pretty good. They're all very good with their boots, to be fair. And as I said, I wouldn't like to dig anyone out for not looking after the boots, because they all look after them pretty well, to be fair.
You'd probably throw them back at them anyway, wouldn't you? Say you do it yourself.
I would just tell them I've scored more goals than them, and that would be it.
What's interesting for someone like the kit man is you are very much a sort of a part of the club. You're not part of the upper echelons, like the management team. So you've seen a few come and go, which must be quite interesting.
Yeah, I think they've all got their different qualities. I think Cots I loved. Steve Cots, absolutely brilliant. And I think, and he'll probably tell you himself, he'd quite a short temper. I think we probably went through about 5 or 6 flip charts every season with Cots. I think I remember one. I think we're getting beat by Rotherham 3-0 or something at half time. And I've walked in, and Sam Stanton, the analysis, he's already there with his laptop, because he'd come in and it happens now. The gaffer would look through the goals, we give away, and then the gaffer goes straight for the player that happens. So I've walked in, literally, the linesman's put up 4 minutes or whatever half time. So I walked in, I'm thinking, listen, I'm getting in there. So I've walked in, I've done my stuff, and then I'm through the shower room where all the stuff we try and hide is. And then I thought, oh no, I forgot the flip chart. And within 10 seconds of everyone coming in, the gaffer came in first, because he's obviously raging. Straight to look, he's booted the flip chart. It's come flying into the shower room, and I'm just sat there. He couldn't see me. I'm just sat there. I'm going, that's getting left there, because I knew for a fact that it was getting smashed to bits. So, but do you know what? Cots he was a very passionate man, and he was a great man, and as I said, they've all had their great qualities. And I used to polish his shoes every Saturday morning. Every Saturday morning we polish his shoes, because I think he liked to look good on the you know what? It got into a bit of a habit for me doing it. I quite liked it, so I think that was good fun.
Good stuff. Well, I mean, it's always great to talk to you, Scotty, and I love the fact that you're still with the club, the heartbeat of the club. You keep it all going, and I know there are lots and lots of questions that we have to ask you from some of the children who are very excited by the fact that you are here with us, and we do appreciate the time that you are spending with the community during this difficult period of COVID, when we can't come and see you, because we'd all be having a chat with you, and we respect the fact that you all you talk to us when we're hanging around the ground, and you're great with the club. So we really appreciate this. But I wonder if we've got some questions that some of the children want to put to you, Lee.
Yes, thanks, Angus. Scott, some great memories there. I was at a few of those games you were talking about, and some really, really good times. I've got a question here from Lily May at Old Mixon School in Weston. Really, really bluntly, she says, why do you love football?
Do you know what? It was probably one of them things when I think any young boy, or especially girls now as well, I think the one thing you want to do is, as soon as you get a ball, you see little kids running about 1-2 year old, they've got a ball at the feet. And I think up in Scotland, the little village I was from, I think that's all we done anyway. We got so after primary school, my primary school was actually looked on to my nan's house. So what we would do, we'd walk to my nan's house, me and my brother. My brother would, which probably helped me as well. My brother was just a year younger than me. So me and my brother would go back to my nan's house, drop off our school bags, go to the school, which my nan would look out the window watching us. And then my nan would knock on the window, wave at us, tell us our tea's ready, back to house with our tea, then back out. I think back in them days, you were more or less told, listen, be back before dark. And that was it. And I think is because back there was no mobile phones or anything like that, what people have got nowadays. I think the only way you found out if your mates were at the park is if their bike was lying on the floor. So I think that's literally what we done. Honestly, that was it. Playing football every day after school.
Good man. We had Rosie at that school as well, wanting to know what inspired you to be a footballer. Was it that love of the games from so early, or was there any other inspiration which came your way?
Do you know what? I was very lucky. I think being an Aberdeen fan, when I was growing up, Alex Ferguson was manager of Aberdeen. And you know, I'm getting goosies now, but back in them days, Aberdeen had the best team in Europe. But I think 1983 we beat Real Madrid in the Cup Winners' Cup final. I think, and as a young Aberdeen fan, I used to watch them every weekend. And yeah, my dad, my brother, we used to go to Pittodrie and watch them. And you know what? That makes you want to go and play football. I think, and it's probably just growing up watching the Fergie's Aberdeen team, I think, in the 80s. And it was a good year for me because I was born in 74. I'm just showing my age now. So by the time in the 80s, I was 6, 7-year-old. I couldn't wait to go and watch Aberdeen every week. It was brilliant. Loved it.
Good man. From the Marks family at Locking School, we've got a couple of twins there, and they've asked something a bit more educational. They want to know, obviously you're not playing now, but what food would you be eating before the game back in those days? And is it different for the boys now who are playing?
Just a bit.
Yeah. So, like, you know what? I think most footballers have got weird superstitions, and I was probably one of them. And it was one of them. You know, I'd probably mix it up. I think 1 week I'd probably have some pasta with just baked beans on it. If I didn't play well, the following week I'd probably have pasta with chicken, and then I'd keep doing that. But it was always pasta, always. I think I'd have scrambled eggs in the morning. If we were playing at home, I'd have scrambled egg on toast, and then the main would just vary how I played the week before. Usually, if I played well, say the following weekend, I'd have pasta with beans again, and I was just weird about that. And I said loads of water, and as I said, we were just told back in the day just to eat as much carbs as possible. Hence why you see a lot of fat ex-footballers now. Because they're still eating the carbs, but they're not doing the exercise.
Yeah.
What
about the pros now, Scott? What are they eating before the game?
Listen, I wish I had a thing with the menu, because we get sent a menu. Actually, I have that. We get sent a menu every week on the. Hold on, I'm trying to find. I'll probably have a menu here. So we get so on every Sunday, Suzanne Coombs, who's like she's one of the. I'm going to say secretary, but I don't think she's a secretary. So I'm probably putting her down a little bit, which I don't want to do. So we're so hold on, I've got a. Let me just have a look through here, because I want to find it, because Norwich. See, it's not even on there, is it? But that we get a proper menu. It gets chucked onto the group chat, and if you'd seen it, it's a proper like 5-star. Oh, here we go. Find it.
They eat like kings.
So like, here we go. So Tuesday, for example. So the players get an option. So A, B, C, D, and then V for vegetarian. There you go. So like on Tuesday, so the lads will get to fill this in. So on Tuesday, option A, chicken, peppercorn and mushroom with chicken arancini or something. I ain't got a clue what that is. And then option B, breaded turkey escalope or escalope, I don't know. And then option D, cod. Listen, it's all very, very posh stuff. It's cod with douglas or something topped with mashed potato. I seen it today and it looked amazing. But like, for example, Friday. So here we go, the Friday one. So this is the day before the game. So the Friday option is chicken and chorizo pasta bake, turkey burrito, and then cod with olive and walnut crust served with salsa verde. What's that? And then And honestly, but as I said, back in the day, I'd go Denny's on North Street, have a ham and egg sandwich with a can of Iron Brew and some Wotsits or something. But that's how much has changed. Honestly, it's frightening. It's frightening.
You're making me hungry, Scott. We'll a couple more questions whilst we got you. So somebody down at Lockin as well, one of the sisters, they want to know how you coped with nerves before any big games. So a lot of our children will obviously get nervous before games, and as
of course,
we're trying to obviously calm them down, get them to enjoy it. But how did you deal with that?
I think anybody that knows me, listen, I'm a smiley. I've got so much energy firing about all the time, and you know what? I was probably one of the ones that go around the dressing room trying to find the ones that are nervous and then try and get them to relax. So for example, Tommy Dock back in the day, I think Angus will definitely know who he is. Tommy Dock was probably one of the best centre midfielders I played alongside, and he was class. But I'm not joking, at 10 to 3 every Saturday afternoon, he'd be in the toilet being sick.
Wow.
Horrendous, like proper vomiting. And you know what? Then he'd go on the pitch and he'd be class. So I think I was one of them. I didn't really suffer from there. Do you know what? Probably the big games, the bigger games, you probably get loads of butterflies. Again, I think once you get on the pitch, you forget about stuff really, because them 90 minutes, and you know what, I read a good part somebody put a few weeks ago in a paper. You know what, when you get on that pitch, the 90 minutes, you forget about all the bad stuff or anything going on in your life, and you just forget about it and get on with it, honestly. And it's, I think the adrenaline probably takes over, and I think you probably forget about the nerves, but I think I definitely got butterflies, 100%. I think, which was probably a good thing. If I didn't, then I wouldn't be human.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott. I'm going to ask one more from the children. We've got about 6 minutes or so before we got to wrap up. So we've got Esme at Bourneville School. She wants to know, when did you know you had a special talent for football, and did you have to practice a lot?
I'm still trying to find it now. Do you know what? I think, as I said earlier, you know, the main thing with me being a working class family, I think I was made to work hard. And I remember my mum and dad used to own a fish and chip shop. And you know what? If we wanted any new football boots, me and my brother would be through the back peeling potatoes. And honestly, and as I said, I think it's hard work more than anything. And don't ever let anyone tell you you're not good enough, ever, because I don't think anyone should have the right of telling anybody they're not good enough to do anything. So listen, if somebody tells you you're not good enough, if anything, I'd use that. And then you know what? 5 years down the line, tell them, oh look, I'm doing all right for myself, to be fair. So listen, I'd use it as a positive, definitely. I think, as I said, no, I'd never let anyone tell you you're not good enough, ever.
That's brilliant, Scott. Well, the children will love that. That's really sound advice. So yeah, where we're running out of time, if we don't,
Can I just listen quickly, listen, and after all this is done and COVID's finished and everything, I'm more than happy to come down and do a couple of football sessions with you, and you know, a couple of hours here or there, but whatever's best for you and the kids. I'm more than happy to come down, and as I said, it'd be a pleasure. Honestly, it'd be a pleasure.
Oh, man, we appreciate. Oh, here we go then, Scott. So I'm doing some live sort of Joe Wicks style workouts for the kids.
Yeah, now you wish.
I told you what my diet was.
You're gonna join us, Scott.
What a Joe Wicks.
I'll email you. We'll get you involved.
Yeah, it might bounce straight back.
9 o'clock in the morning.
What time?
9, live on YouTube.
9 a.m. We've got the kids doing it.
The good thing, it'll have to be one of my days off. Do you know what? I'll definitely do one, mate. Definitely.
Top man. I'll email you. Let's get the couple questions from the boss, because I want to keep my job at the end of the day. We've got the CEO. He's in charge of all of our 8 schools. So Laura, do you want to just quickly ask a couple from Adam?
Proper big fan. I got pages of it, Scott, and they're a bit fan geek questions. So apologies, everybody. The easy one is, who's got the dirtiest kit after training?
Do you know what? Probably at the moment, right? Because at the moment we're not allowed to clean kit because obviously COVID restrictions. So the players are looking after their own kit. But usually, I'd say somebody like Nathan Baker, because he loves a tackle. So he's usually the one it's sliding in, trying to kill people. So I think Bake's probably be one of them. And I think, as I said, hopefully he's not too far away from fitness, touch wood. But I think Bake's I'd say Nathan Baker, definitely.
So today in the office, I've had to listen to lots of reruns of your finest moments when Adam was there watching you. He would like to know specifically, I have to read this one.
Okay.
Did you hurt your foot when kicking the crowd mic in celebration after Roberts scored the winner against Hartlepool in the playoff semi-final?
I remember seeing clips of that, and you know what I think obviously apart from the Man United is completely different because I didn't play with that, but that game against Hartlepool and you know another thing for me was the manager of Hartlepool was a massive Aberdeen legend. So I remember speaking to Neil Cooper.
Neil Cooper, yeah.
Passed away, bless him. And do you know what? I remember speaking to him before the game. I've got goosies again. And I was speaking to him before the game, and I was just saying how much I used to watch him as a kid, and he was like that, Scotty, make sure you don't score tonight. And I just remember the last vision I remember is we scored the goal to make it 2-1. Obviously kicked. I remember just seeing the camera went on to him, and he was the camera went on to him, and every time I see it now, it actually makes me well up a bit because he's not here anymore, and he was such a lovely bloke. It was I was actually a bit sad that we actually beat him because they'd done an incredible job to get Hartlepool to the playoffs anyway. And but no, the camera, the microphone took a bit of stick that night. That's for sure.
Did he have Martin Scott alongside him at that time?
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah,
Scotty was there, yeah.
I know.
Do
you know what, Neil Cooper? I'd met him at a few things back home, and he was the life and soul of the party. And as I said, it was obviously sad when he passed away. But as I said, I was lucky enough to meet him a few times, so it's good.
Well, I was behind his dugout that night, and I gave him awful jip.
I can imagine. Yeah, I didn't kick the microphone at you, did I? Because I was right at that next there.
One more. We got 4 minutes left on the timer.
So it's all about the fine details with our boss. When you were at Aston Villa, did you ever run up and down the whole end terrace? And if so, how long did it take you?
No,
and I've had to look at all the pictures.
So the whole end obviously is a massive stand behind the goal. And to be fair, the training ground in Bodymore Heath was probably one of the best in the country at the time. So we only really went to Villa Park when we played a game. So I think unlike Bristol City, where we used to run up the Dolman stand and the Williams stand, which was like pre-season like training up and down. So I have done it at Ashton Gate, but not at Villa Park now.
He said when you were a rookie, is that what they used to make you do, run up and down all of it?
Ron Atkinson would have loved that back in the day, making us run up there, that's for sure, big Ron.
Can I just ask, sorry Lee, I know we need to wind up,
we will get cut off, Laura, so...
Okay, this is a really, really quick one then. Had you not become a footballer, do you know what you'd have ended up doing?
Yeah, probably, I would say a model. I'm joking. No, do you know what? I'd have probably still been working in the fish factory. Honestly.
Thanks, Scotty.
Pleasure.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much, Scott. I think the children listening to this will get loads out of it. All about hard work, and your passion for the game just comes through brilliantly. I think the adults have taken a trip down memory lane, which has been awesome. Just to wrap it up, Luke and Abby, thank you for representing our schools and our trust. You're two guys doing great jobs in your school, like all of our PE leads, and Laura as well for coming on.
Listen, Lee, if you want to do one of the Lee, if you want to do another one in a couple of weeks, I'm more than happy to do another one. Honestly,
that would be brilliant, mate. Maybe
I think this lockdown is going to be very, very tough. Oh, what was that there, Abby? Abby, what was that?
Sorry, that was my cat.
Yes, I seen it.
Sorry.
I thought I was going to attack you there.
He's sat behind the laptop now.
Oh, bless.
We also have it on video now that you are doing a Joe Wicks with Lee, and you're coming into all of our schools. So
I will. No, 100%. I won't let you down.
Good man. Angus, it's been a pleasure to have you, mate. Thank you ever so much.
Legend as usual.
Nice to see you, Scotty. We'll catch up soon. All the best, mate.
Luke, nice to see you. Abby, Laura, Lee, and then listen, if you want to do another couple of weeks, honestly, I'm right up for it.
Good man. I'll send you a message. Angus, the Joe Wicks live workout extends to your good self as well.
I think the minute is just about to run out, isn't it?
See you there, Angus.
Brilliant, guys. Stay safe, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, so we've just finished recording with the Flying Scotsman, as he's lovingly known down here in the West Country, Scott Murray. Scott's not only a legend on the pitch, but an absolute legend off it. Known for obviously his abilities, but also his random acts of kindness and his community links that he always gives up so much of his time for. So we thank him for that. I think the key messages for that are how fun Scott is, how passionate he is, and how much hard work pays in when you're young. If you really want to make something of yourself, work hard, be positive, and no more better time than that during this lockdown at the moment. Okay, so thank you ever so much, everybody, and stay safe.
It was absolutely great talking to Scott, listening to the stories and reminiscing over his footballing memories. I think the main thing I took from it was about resilience and how Scott was resilient through his career. And it's definitely something for us to think about during this lockdown, being resilient as well, which is something we've been focusing a lot in all of our Eland schools.